Hey and welcome, I'm Hammeh, and in this video we're going to be taking a look and analysing Overwatch's latest short, Hero. In this short we see Soldier 76 investigating the goings-on of the Los Muertos gang as they're running guns in Dorado. This short's a bit more a day in the life of Soldier 76 rather than anything hugely lore deep. We're going to jump in and see what we can discover, any new bits of Overwatch lore or backstory we can have a look at. As always, this contains major spoilers, so you should go watch the short if you haven't already. Let's get stuck in. As a quick summary of the short story, we're introduced to Alejandra through her mother, who's speaking and talking about her concerns for her daughter's future and the way that she tries to inspire her with tales of old heroes, the heroes of Overwatch. Alejandra is sent by her mother to go and get flour. On her journey, she runs into some members of Los Muertos who actually know her, as they call her by name and by nickname. We see the Los Muertos gang members beating up an Omnic that Alejandra is given the opportunity to try and hit, and pressured to try and hit, but chooses not to. However, because she chooses not to hit the Omnic, her purse is stolen and the gang drive off, so Alejandra is in hot pursuit. As she rounds a corner to try and confront the gang again, however, suddenly gang members are flying left and right and Soldier 76 drops into the fray. We see a lot of Soldier 76's fighting style in action, before ultimately he's left with a choice: pursue the gang or protect Alejandra from a grenade that one of the gang members has thrown. Soldier 76 chooses to save Alejandra, of course, and when asked why, he says, "Old habits die hard." He's then asked by Alejandra if he's one of those heroes, to which he says not anymore, before walking off into the fog. As Alejandra returns home to tell her mum all about it, we end the short with her mum saying, "I'm not so worried for her after all," as we see Soldier 76 looking over the scene, ensuring that she got home safely. Here's my opinions on a few different things we might have learned or interesting points about this short. First thing I found quite interesting was that we saw a little bit more about Los Muertos, for example their activities and what they're up to. Although Los Muertos in certain blogs have claimed to be a people's organisation, they're clearly running weapons here, as clearly shown when this guy decides to pull out a big minigun chain cannon from a box of pinatas. Quite a nice touch here because in Dorado, in-game, you can see a whole bunch of pinatas everywhere, in theory celebrating the Festival of Lights. We also see some of the Los Muertos members engaged in anti-Omnic violence. Of course, we can't tell from the actions of a few people whether this is indicative of the gang is in whole or not, but given that Dorado used to be a town that celebrated Omnics and humans coming together with the Festival of Lights, things have definitely gone downhill here. It was also interesting to see their kind of ultraviolet style tattoos. Something when everything goes dark is lighting them up. Really, really nice touch. The next thing we got a bit more of a look at was Soldier 76 in action and his kind of combat style and abilities. I really like this point here, if we slow it down, where you can actually see him knock a baseball bat out of someone's hand, and then I think he catches this in midair before hitting the other guy. It's really cool, but it also shows that in theory he's got massively sharp reactions, an amazing style of hand-to-hand combat here. In certain blogs on the Overwatch site, to establish backstory, we've heard that Soldier 76 is fairly indiscriminate in terms of who gets hurt and what happens. Although in his raid on Watchpoint Grand Mesa, apparently he disabled people rather than actually kill them. This doesn't seem to be the case here. Although we see Soldier 76 in a big hand-to-hand fight to start with, we then see him use Tactical Visor, and if you slow it down you can actually see that it's locking on with headshots. Although all of these people fall off, they all seem to be lying very still and not getting up anymore, so if they're not killed, then they're doing a pretty good job of convincing us otherwise. Although we know that, of course, Morrison has fought bots and similar in the past. Before he was Soldier 76, Morrison used to be a pretty moral guy. This is definitely a more mercenary style of fighting. The final thing that I thought could have been slightly interesting, I may have misseen this, but if we just slow this shot down, we can see that when Soldier 76 is talking to Alejandra after he's saved her, he's nursing a wound that he has, and there's actually kind of a wrinkling, crinkling sound when he decides to hold his side here. Now, I can't tell from the angle whether he's actually holding his side and it's him sort of wrapping up his wound, or whether it's like a self-healing kind of noise. Here's the noise. Have a look at the clip, tell me what you think. It would be interesting to see whether the soldier enhancement program abilities that he's been given by the US government are represented here in some kind of self-healing or self-regeneration. Just a thought, nothing confirmed. What do you reckon? The next thing that was quite interesting was having a look at Soldier 76's character nowadays compared to the heroic Morrison that we've seen of old. Maybe some of the Atlas news bulletins about him could be accurate in terms of casualties, we just don't know. The interesting reflection is that although we see a very violent side to Soldier 76, with his harsh beating of this character here to start with, even though it looks as though it's over the head with a piñata or something that's on fire, he does save Alejandra even though the gang actually get away, so when given the choice, he chooses to protect the innocent life. When asked by Alejandra as to why this is, he says, "Old habits die hard, I guess," which goes to show that Jack Morrison, the old hero of Overwatch legend, is still in there somewhere. Although we've seen two different sides to Soldier 76's character here, we do end on a high note when we see that as Alejandra gets home and the door shuts behind her, Soldier 76 has actually been keeping an eye on her, making sure that she got home safely. So, Jack Morrison, still trying to protect the innocent in some form or another. Finally saw a couple of cool Easter eggy type bits just going to share, and we saw the Protectors poster, which is clearly an old Overwatch poster that Alejandra picks up and takes home with her both at the beginning and the end of the short. If you take a look at the wall a bit more, you see some in-game art. So for example, you see the poster for Lucio's World Tour that you can see in several levels in Overwatch. You can see a similar poster but with Spanish translation to the King's Row, Protect and Give Omnics Equal Rights posters. And then finally, if you take a look in the bottom left here, you can see what I think is one of Roadhog's sprays or icons, which is kind of cool. Now of course, remember that Junkrat and Roadhog have been in Dorado and they have held up a bank at some point. We can't tell when in the timeline, if there is an accurate timeline, that it is compared to this particular short, but it's definitely a little Roadhog was here, so I really enjoyed that. Thanks so much for tuning in to our quick run through and light analysis of Hero, the latest Overwatch animated short. Did you like it? Did you think that we got a bit more insight into Soldier 76? Were you perhaps expecting other things to show up in this that didn't show up? What do you think? Would really like to know your opinions. You can see analysis of other animated shorts, comic analysis of the Overwatch digital comics, lore speculation, hero speculation, and a whole bunch of our voice line videos, push play guides, and a whole bunch of other stuff on the channel as well. Please do let me know what you think in the comments below. We'd love it if you subbed. We're going to be doing loads of videos through launch and beyond. Cheers for tuning in. I've been Hammeh. Take it easy.